brother. How y'all doing? How about we hit the correct button there? How about we hit the right one? Hit the right one. There we go. Hi, everybody. Good morning. It is Tuesday. I don't think I turned the music down low enough. But anyway, how y'all doing? Morning Night Live Tuesday. So we talked a little bit about this Devin Archer testimony that we were anticipating yesterday. And today we get to hear the reactions. And it's interesting how certain entities are doing their best to downplay it. And other entities are just reporting on the facts. And it's just an interesting thing. So we're going to get into a lot of that, but there's a few other things happening this morning that are that are trending. We'll talk about those things and more as soon as we start the show. But Johnny, you got to stop that music. Thank you. And what do? We played the intro. Johnny, play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yes, it is a lovely morning this Tuesday morning. Johnny, stop the music. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I am your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel on this Tuesday, the 1st of August, 2023. Hope you said your rabbit this morning. I'm sure rabbit will show up in the chat somewhere today. It is the 1st of the month, and I got bills to pay, so I better do that. Hey, there's a whole lot going on, but a lot of it's being overshadowed by this testimony by the former business partner of Hunter Biden, and we're going to talk about that today. Maybe Mike will show up and say some Trump shit or something. Because, the news about Trump, yeah, they said another time, and there hasn't been much more. But there's been plenty more on this Biden thing. And actually, what's interesting is the media is reporting on it, sort of. They're putting their own little... Well, they're spinning like... what's that band called? Dead or Alive? Remember that band? Dead or Alive? The guy dressed up like had feminine stuff, long ass hair and stuff. You spin me right around, baby, right around like a record, baby, round, 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 round. Well, they're spinning just like that. So anyway, let's just get into it because I don't have a whole lot more to say other than let's go. So let's say hi to everybody. First in the chat over on Rumble, Mr. Avocados Diabli gets the bell. Also, good morning, Phantom Dog Fart, Next Gen Troll, Mike Savage, Blarg, Sully 209, and Chicago Mike. Thank you for joining me on Rumble. By the way, make sure you are subscribed to me on both YouTube and Rumble. All the Rumble people are also subscribed to me on YouTube. But not all the YouTube are subscribed to me at Rumble. I never even look around at Rumble. Oh, by the way, but speaking of Rumble, I finally figured out how to get the Rumble rants dollars off there. So all of that's been accumulating over the several months. I had to email them. They have to give you a button to do that, and they gave me a button. And what's weird though, it goes through PayPal, but it takes 8 to 14 days for them to process it, whatever. At least they have a button now where I don't have to try and figure it out. Because I thought they put it in your account automatically, but don't. It kept accumulating. I'm like, well, I'm well over the threshold to take it out, some out, and they weren't letting me do it. Well, I didn't. Not that they weren't letting me. I just didn't have a way. So now I do. Tyre Alexander also on Rumble. So if you do Rumble rants, I can finally get those. It takes like 14 days. If you do Streamlabs, I can pull it up the next, 5 minutes later. I prefer Streamlabs because they take the least amount of money of everybody, especially if you do credit cards, but whatever, I don't care. If you're that generous to put money in the coffers, drop a couple deuces in the tip jar, whatever, I have nothing to say but grace and and heavily thank you for that. So anyway, over on YouTube, first in the chat is also Avocados Diabli. And good morning, fake news expert, Lord Stanhope, Tyler F. Good morning, Simon Wolfwood. Hello to, I said Lord Stanhope. I got to scroll a little bit to figure out anyone else. Tyrannus. Alexandrius. The Invictus Lich. I couldn't find the freaking button. All right. Also, good morning to Attack Alpacas in the house. My favorite Canadian, Jaeger Ponies here. Hello. Chicago Mike. Rabbit. I knew it. You rang. I don't think rabbit would sound like you rang. That's, like, who did that? Lurch, or John Kerry. I couldn't tell the difference. One of the two. And also, let's see. Is that everybody? That's everybody? Are you kidding me? Where is everybody? All right, do me a favor. It is, as you are the ones who sponsor the show, be sure to hit the like button. Share this stream. I don't know where everybody is, but if you share the stream, I'm sure more will pop up. And also, if you would like to sponsor the show, it's pdognight.live right there, or super chats, Rumble Rants, Venmo, Cash App, all that stuff. So drop a deuce in the tip jar if you want some. In fact, it is $2 Tuesday. We ask everyone to drop a deuce in the tip jar, and I will clean it up later, I promise. Okay, so let's get into the show. There's some things happening. I just found one of the things trending, Joe Biden never. That has to do with the Archer testimony. By the way, and also thank you to those of you who have put the show out on the internets, whatever, the tubes. That would be Somnum Bull Nation. That'd be Tyler F, Swamp Fox Ghost. Wait, who's that? Tyre Alexander, thank you. And I greatly appreciate you doing that. YouTube doesn't YouTube very well. Well, I don't know what that means. I can't Twitter suspend me for saying people dumb enough to block traffic should get run over. Well, maybe X. You should try X. That's another place you can do that. By the way, I did notice in some places on X or Twitter, some places still says tweet, some places it says post. They're changing the terminology a little bit over on X. But although it still says tweet on this page, what is going on? I don't get it. Let's see. Let me, if I just do this. If you actually hit the first X, then it's post, but it still says tweet up there. No, it says post up there. Okay, whatever. This is weird. It's all kinds of things. Anyway, there's a lot of things trending this morning. Let's talk about some of the things that are trending. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson, what is wrong with you? Okay, we're going to watch Neil deGrasse Tyson this morning, too. He's said something that, well, when was this? This was, I guess, a couple of days ago. I'll move that right here behind. This is CNN, because that'll kind of fit in over there. All right, first thing trending this morning, and I'm not going to talk a lot about it because this is YouTube. Okay, maybe if it's only on Rumble, I talk about it, but I'm not going to talk about it. But the wonder drug, the miracle drug, also known as ivermectin, is trending, and I can't get into it too deeply. But whoever the guy who got a Nobel Prize for ivermectin. So there's a lot of people talking about it. Apparently, here's the discussion on the Fauci juice and whether or not the Fauci juice would have been approved had there not been, because for the emergency use authorization, you can't have any other drugs that have any effect on what you're doing. If you have any other drugs that are already there, you can't use an emergency use authorization to, do the, what did Trump do? The what was that called? Operation, the hell was it called? Whatever he did to speed up the process. You all can tell me in the chat. Anyway, so a lot of people are talking about ivermectin, and Whether or not it's useful, I do not know. I'm not going to make any speculation, but there's lots of people talking about it, trending on YouTube. Robert Kennedy Jr. talking about it when he's talking to Megyn Kelly. It looks like, well, here, this is it. This is the World Ivermectin Day. Was that yesterday or a couple of days ago? Ivermectin, a single dose can cure something 100% in 48 hours, typically used for parasitic infection, FDA approved in humans since 1970, on the WHO list of essential medicines, very few side effects, one of the safest drugs in the world, at the same level as aspirin and penicillin. That was the other thing. You know, whether or not it's useful for stupid 19, I don't really, I'm not going to make a speculation because this is YouTube. But the idea that they were trying to say that this was a drug that can kill you and they were calling it horse paste and all this other stupid shit. It's on the same level of safety as aspirin and penicillin. Plus, the wholesale cost is 12 cents a pill. The Broward County, Florida doctors have used it with, I guess they used it. They used it. I'm not sure. They say a success rate here. I'm not convinced that 100%. But anyway, they're talking about some of these internal drugs. This is a drug that's been around forever. I don't know if it works for stupid 19. But anyway, there was a World Ivermectin Day because it's considered a miracle drug for other things. Now, and that's all I'm gonna say about that because I don't want to get in trouble. And if you want to read look, all these threads and all these special, trending topics will be linked in the description. And at the end of the show, I drop it in the chat. We throw it in this description, put it on the Discord server. So if you ever want to find all the links to everything we talk about each day, that's where you find it. Good morning, Somnambule Nation. Good morning, by the way. Also, someone else came that I didn't say hi to. Was it Septus Wolf, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, hi, everybody. So, also trending this morning, Jimmy Dore is trending, and it's kind of related. He had an interview with Robert Kennedy Jr. About some things. But the other thing is him talking about, apparently, there's some people out there who are so concerned about Robert Kennedy Jr. And now let me clarify something real quick here. I would not vote for Robert Kennedy Jr. because I don't agree with him on a lot of policies. However, he has some common sense things going on too. As far as free speech, he's good on certain things, but he's not, just policy-wise, I'm not agreeing with him on certain things, and he's really one of those little warming people. But anyway, he had an interview with Jimmy Dore because apparently there are some people literally out there trying to claim that Robert Kennedy Jr. is posting Nazi propaganda. Not can see, but not see. Okay? You can either see or you'll either see or you'll not see. And they're saying that he is not see. Okay? And so Jimmy Dore had him on, and I just want to show you this little clip real quick because it's interesting. And Jimmy Dore and Robert Kennedy Jr. kind of ripped to shreds. So here we go. Let's watch this clip real quick.
The Biden administration just denied our request. Okay, I'll stop there because the important part's already been out there.
Now, you'll see it. You'll see it as soon as you do. You're gonna. This is hilarious. Why is this not doing this? Wait a minute. Hang on. Let's get this so you can fit it on the screen. What's going on? Why is my full screen messed up? What happened to my full screen? There we go. All right, here we go. Let's watch this because you're gonna laugh at this. You're gonna laugh your ass off.
The Biden administration just denied our request. Okay, I'll stop there because the important part's already been out there. Now, what they're saying about this now, a tweet from the account of Democratic presidential candidate RFK on Friday used language that many observers say evokes the no Nazi hate symbol 1488.
Many. Look at this.
And so there you put 14 and then they're saying that you did this intentionally.
I also use the word 67 down there.
Okay. Oh, well, down here it's 67. Is that also bad?
No, but I mean, I I was.
They were trying to
anyways, you
say.
can see at the bottom it says that it got at that point that you photographed it's got almost 30 million views.
Yes.
Oh, I think they were trying to figure out a way. Somebody was. It got somebody's attention.
Is that amazing?
And, and those.
Is that amazing? They're so afraid of him getting traction among Democrats that the Huffington Post published an article saying that he was intentionally using Nazi symbolism. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You don't even have to watch the rest of the segment, but it's embarrassing. Now, also we talked about the controversy the other day about them. Maybe we talked about it, or maybe I tweeted about it. There's a controversy in the idea, apparently since he's running for president, there's a point where you can ask for Secret Service protection. Okay. And, because usually it's within 120 days of an election of the primaries, right? And then we're still farther out than that. But, you think of the Kennedy family history and probably his penchant for not liking the CIA and maybe the FBI, where, you might want to consider giving him Secret Service protection. But people are like, nah, he doesn't get Secret Service protection until 120 days, right? And in fact, this tweet down here, when he wrote this, you'll see it here. It's harder to see. Let me make it so you can see it easier. So he put this out where he said, since the assassination of my father in 1968, candidates for president are provided Secret Service protection, but not me. The typical turnaround for pro forma protection requests from presidential candidates is 14 days. After 88 days, that was the same tweet, right? This is the tweet where he had the 1488. After 88 days of no response, after several follow-ups by our campaign, the Biden administration just denied our request. Secretary Mayorkas, quote, I have determined that Secret Service protection for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not warranted at this time. End quote. Our campaign request included a 67-page report from the world's leading protection firm detailing unique and well-established security and safety risks aside from commonplace death threats. Well, some of the haters on Twitter that are in the community notes correctly, okay, I might say, yes, they correctly, in a way, from the Secret Service website, Secret Service protection is only afforded to major candidates within a period of 120 days from the general election. Secret Service gov, blah, 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 blah. It is at the time of this writing, 465 days until the general election, putting this request far out of range of the law. Do you find this helpful? Well, that's another thing Jimmy Dore was talking about on Twitter, where he says this. Well, Donald Trump and Ben Carson were provided Secret Service protection 365 days before the election day on 2015. Wait a minute. Was Ben Carson a major candidate at the time? Not Donald Trump, 300-pound gorilla, but Ben Carson, was he a major candidate at the time? Barack Obama was provided Secret Service protection 551 days before Election Day in 2007. John McCain was offered Secret Service protection the same time, 551 days before the Election Day, and declined in 2007. Ted Kennedy was provided Secret Service 410 days before Election Day in 1979. So there are precedents, not presidents, but precedent, that maybe, just maybe, some candidates will be approved farther out. Fascinating. So anyway, those are a couple reasons he's trending more because of his interview with Robert Kennedy Jr. and a couple other things. Because Jimmy tends to trend quite a bit, and I don't adhere to necessarily Jimmy's politics, but he's probably he may be the most honest pundit on the left that I know, and he's a straight shooter, so I do like Jimmy in some ways. So anyway, and he did a segment on the protesters who gotten what's his face, Trudeau. What the fuck's Trudeau's name? Justin Trudeau. So that's pretty good too. So anyway, that's why Jimmy Dore is trending. Moving on, the U.S. women's national soccer team is trending. Now, this is not a sports show, but some people are a little upset with the U.S. women's soccer team. They've made it to the round of 16 at the World Cup, right? But they did it with a 0-0 tie to Portugal. And some of the former players are a little bit upset by their antics after the game. So here is, you remember Carly Lloyd? She was, wait, where is it? Where's the thing with Carly Lloyd? Carly Lloyd wasn't really happy with the fact that after this game, where the game was 0-0, the women's national soccer team was dancing around like they'd done something, like this was great. And normally, if, in days past, someone would be kicking posts for the 0-0, but they did make it to the round. So here's Carly Lloyd talking about that.
And I mean, what you gonna do? It's nice to have this mentality afterwards, but
why are they dancing?
Can't bring it on. Well,
why are they dancing?
These are not the images.
This is like
expecting to see from a team that survived Portugal.
0-0. They're so excited for 0-0. Now, granted, they made it to the round of 16, but come on.
Carly Lloyd's butt would be back in the locker room, kicking things, throwing things.
And here's what Carly Lloyd has to say.
And just seeing these images for the first time right now on the desk,
She's disgusted. This is like, okay. I don't know if you ever saw, there was a clip. The Lakers were on like this 8-game losing streak, right? And they won a game against the Celtics, and some of their players are dancing around and talking and yapping. Yeah, we here, we back, this and that. And it was Kobe Bryant. I think he was on Jimmy Kimmel's show, and he's looking at it, watching them dance around because they finally won the game after an 8-game losing streak, and they're jawing and shucking and jiving in front of the camera. Kobe Bryant's looking at him like, that ain't happening if I were still there. And here's Carly Lloyd kind of doing the same thing.
Something like that. There's a difference between being respectful of the fans and saying hello to your family, but to be dancing, to be smiling. I mean, the player of the match was that post.
The post. The
right
player
now.
of the match was the post. Now,
what you gonna do?
here's why they won this game. Speaking of the post, player of the game was the post. Here we go. Here's the player of the game in their 0-0 tie. Whoops, I don't want to hear that music. Here, watch. Here it is. This is Portugal. Oh, the post! The post is the player of the game. The post saved the United States and got them into the round of 16. There we go. Good morning, Michael Hatfield. How you doing? Hi, now what? Woo, my friend. Good morning. We have asked how many days of Secret Service protection Dylan Mulvaney would have been gifted if he declared himself to be a serious candidate for president. He would be getting. Did I say he? I don't know. He, she, whatever. That Dylan Mulvaney would absolutely be getting Secret Service protection. Probably get Secret Service protection anyway. Not even declaring Dylan Mulvaney a candidate. I just avoid the pronoun things. It's YouTube. All right, moving on. Let's see. Also trending. Oh, Vlatko. Or is it Vlatko? No. Yeah, Vlatko. Vlatko's trending because Vlatko's the coach of the U.S. women's national soccer team or whatever. And again, this is not a sports show, but I thought apparently Vlatko has a really hard time putting in subs. And so I just thought this tweet was a little bit funny. Vlatko, every time he looks at the bench, he doesn't sub anybody. And so apparently some of the players get worn out. Let's see here. The U.S. women's team under Vlatko in a nutshell. What is this?
I don't see a game plan. I don't know what the game plan is defensively or offensively. And there's one problem. The player from the U.S. team who's got the ball wow, she is lost because no one else wants to have the ball. There is no position to play to, so this is a real problem.
All right. So anyway, things aren't looking good, but they made it to the round of 16. So congrats. And which, you know, what's crazy is Canada didn't make it. Didn't Canada, Canadians, please help me out. Didn't the Canadian women's team, isn't that the last team to beat the U.S. in some kind of a World Cup type thing, or was it not? Or was it somebody else? I thought it was Canada. Or Canada beat them one time and recently, and that was a big deal. Or maybe I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking. Anybody know? But they've been eliminated. By the way, I got a poll for you, and I'll do it as a poll rather than just have you put a 1 or 2 in the chat. The poll today is on YouTube. The last team to beat the U.S. was, other than the teenage boys. Yeah, right. Exactly. It is. I tried to watch one of the games during my break this morning, and there was one of the games on, and my gosh, it was like watching 8th graders play, 8th grade boys play. Anyway, but they're the best women in the world, and I don't knock them. More power to them. But there was a lot of. Oh, by the way, there were a lot of people in the crowd, dressed up as empty seats. That was really wild. I just couldn't. It was uncanny how good the costumes were. All right. Wait. Do you give an F about the women's? I'll just put WWC for the Women's World Cup. There's the poll. Do you give an F about the Women's World Cup? And you can answer yes or no. Those are your only choices. There we go. Good morning, Tribute Liberty. Nice to see you in the chat. All right, let's move on. What else is trending this morning? Please don't hit I almost thought I hit the next. Alabama is trending. Alabama is trending, and not the band, not the, Forrest Gump's hometown. There's a little hubbub about Alabama. Apparently, the Space Force was supposed to, apparently it's in Colorado and it's supposed to be relocated to Alabama. Trump kind of had this set up. They were already planning on, or Space Command, which is where Space Force is supposed to be, commanded from. Right now it's part of the Air Force, so it's out in Colorado, but they were going to put it in Huntsville, Alabama, and the Biden administration has retaliated against Tommy Tuberville, and they made a decision, almost strictly on politics, not to move Space Force to Alabama. So there's a lot of people ragging on about that. Some people are happy about it. This guy right here. Here, let's make it a little bit bigger, little bit. Or is that already Twitter size? Oh, that's a little bigger. All right. This guy right here, Biden is keeping Space Command in Colorado, undoing Trump's order to have the base relocated to Alabama. Senator Tommy Tuberville supported Space Command headquarters move to Huntsville, Alabama, but refuses to promote military positions. Biden decided against the move, canceling literally billions of dollars in revenue, taxes, jobs, innovative enterprises. Alabama, you can thank Tuberville for your losses, because Tommy Tuberville right now has a hold on all basically promotions, whatever, because of the military appropriations bill, whatever, because he doesn't believe that the military should pay for women to go to other states to get abortions. Okay. And that's his kind of on this stand. And so he all these positions, the promotions, whatever, are on hold because of Tommy Tuberville. But let's see. Now, another take on this is from RNC Research. Biden National Security Council spokesman John Kirby insists Biden's decision to have U.S. Space Command in Colorado instead of planned location in Alabama overruled Air Force leadership is because of operational readiness and definitely not politics. Yes, there's no politics involved whatsoever. Yes, John Kirby is straight on the up and up, and here's him talking about why it's not politics. This is not politics. This is something else. And he's here with Wolf Blitzer, who absolutely loved the Trump administration.
President Biden has decided not to move the U.S. Space Command, right, from its headquarters in Colorado to Senator Tuberville's home state of Alabama.
Now, wait. No, it's interesting. Wolf slips it in there right away. He says, not to Mr. Tuberville's state of Alabama. Well, it's not Mr. Tuberville's state of Alabama. He doesn't own the damn state. It's the state of Alabama. First, Wolf. But anyway...
State of Alabama.
That's right.
Tell us about that.
This was really a decision based on one thing and one thing only.
What's that?
And that was operational readiness. He took the inputs of many leaders across the Department of Defense.
Really?
When it came down to it, he believes that it's in the best national security interest of the country if we leave Space Command in Colorado.
Oh, sure. I'm sure it had nothing to do with politics. Nothing whatsoever. So anyway, and lots of people, John Solomon, Tuberville fumes as Biden blocks Space Command move to Alabama. This is absolutely not over. And this is John Solomon and Just the News. The decision, let's see, Alabama Republican Tommy Tuberville is vowed to contest President Joe Biden's decision to keep the U.S. Space Command in Colorado rather than move it to the Yellowhammer State. I didn't know. Okay, first of all, okay, if you're not from Alabama, let me ask you a quick question. Just a yes or no in the chat. We're getting 100% no's on the U.S. Women's World Cup. In the chat, yes or no. Did you know that Alabama was known as the Yellowhammer State? I did not know that. I had no idea. I would have guessed it would be the what's that hat that Bear Bryant used to wear? There's a name for it. Is it a pork pie hat? But he had that plaid pork pie hat or whatever. Anyway, the president's decision became public on Monday and was reportedly the result of Space Command Chief General James Dixon convincing the commander-in-chief to keep the facility at its current location to prevent any impact on military readiness. Yeah, they've never moved anything from one place to another before. It never has been done in the entire history of the military. They've never had stuff, in one place, and then they, moved everything else and made it an example of military readiness. I know they never have. Episkipos, how you doing? And they've never moved anything before in the history of all history. Except for, like when they moved the capital of the United States from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C. That's never happened. They don't want to do anything. Anyway, Tuberville, this is absolutely not over. I will continue to fight this as long as it takes to bring Space Command to where it is best served, Huntsville, Alabama. The coach declared in a press release, see, they still have called him the coach because he was a football coach. Hey, Genty. Today's disastrous mistake just adds the long string of bad decisions that this compromised president has made. He's batting 1,000 in that category since taking office. Now, like many of the decisions the Biden administration makes, I'm gonna make a little aside here. I'm not convinced that Joe Biden made this decision. In fact, I'm not convinced that Joe Biden makes any decisions. And I'm going to put this in a thread in Twitter, but I'm getting my thoughts together on it. Someone on, it was one of the Krasensteins that, he put out this stupid thread, which is redundant if it's the name Krasenstein on it. But, excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. So he put out this thread that, let me find it here. He says Republican. He's an artist on trying to get interaction on social media, right? That's his big thing. He's trying to get, what do you call it? There's a name for it. It's engagement, okay? Because he makes money off of Twitter. He put out this thread that says, Republicans, tell something you like about what this administration has done. Tell Biden something you like about what his administration has done. Democrats, tell Trump something you like about what his administration had done. And then he says, if you are reading this and refuse to answer, then that means you are being disingenuous. Which, first of all, that's bullshit. But anyway, then he said he thinks he supported that Trump did Operation Warp Speed, push for an infrastructure deal, even though nothing ever got signed, really damaged ISIS. Yeah, is that all, really? I think he did a great job on immigration compared to the current president. But anyway, and he says your turn. And I'm thinking, first of all, how dare you cast aspersions to try to shame people just because they won't acquiesce to your demand to respond. It's like, oh, if you don't respond to what I write, you're being disingenuous. Fuck you. Okay. Some people won't have an answer for that, or just don't want to answer that for whatever reason. They might because they hate the other guy, or they don't want to be, or they don't care. They don't want to, and frankly, it's none of his business. Okay. It's not really his place to judge anybody just because they don't answer his stupid question on Twitter. But, and plus, see, ruffling feathers people on Twitter is really good for engagement. You know what I mean? It's like, if you can rile up both sides, you can get a lot of people to respond to a stupid tweet. And that's one of those engagement bait is what I call it. It's engagement bait tweet. But here's what I was going to say about the president. Because 3 things that he has done that I support. Well, first of all, I don't think our president has done anything. And I don't mean that he's not the president. What I mean is I don't think he's done anything. I think his handlers do everything. I don't think Joe Biden does anything. I think Joe Biden made a deal when he was running for president. Okay? He made a deal when he was running for president with the DNC or some handlers. I think this is Obama's 3rd term. Because a lot of his advisors are old Obama people, Jake Sullivan, and, so on and so forth. Joe Biden made this deal knowing he's compromised because all this deal with the Hunter and his son, whatever, is coming up. He made this deal that, I'll be the figurehead and I'll just do whatever you tell me to do. And you can see this whenever he goes to speak, whenever he goes to do a press conference or whatever. How many times have you heard Joe Biden say, I'm kind of off script. I better stay on script or I'm going to be in trouble. Who are you going to be in trouble with? You're the president of the United States. If you go off script, that's your prerogative. You are the president. But I think it's the handlers who know he's compromised, who can say, hey, Joe, do what you do. What do we say? We're going to make you the president. You get to finally be the president. You tried this in 1988. You tried this several times. You didn't make it because they caught your plagiarism stuff. You plagiarized Bobby Kennedy's speech, speaking of RFK Jr. So his handlers are the ones who tell him what to do. And even you see it in press conferences, when he's in a press conference, what do? I have a list of people that I'm supposed to call on because you have notes for the questions they're going to ask. When you meet with world leaders, you sit there in your chair looking down at your notes of what you're supposed to say. And it looks like you're falling asleep, but you're actually down there reading your notes because they tell you what to say. You have short speeches. And you don't take questions. Why? Because they haven't told you what to say. And when you do go off script, it's usually a disaster. Talking about we're going to build a railroad from the Pacific across the Indian Ocean. Now, we know you meant across to the Indian Ocean, but you said across the Indian Ocean. And it's just one of the many, 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 many gaffes that you have when you get off your notes. Why? Because you're being told what to say. They have the goods on you. They can embarrass you in a heartbeat if they want to. So you're basically the president are the people handling Joe Biden. That's who the president is. And they'll write every word you're allowed to say. And when you go off script, you're worried about, well, I'm going to get in trouble for going off script. That's who the president is. So I don't think Joe Biden has done anything. Jake Sullivan and I don't know, whoever the other advisors are. They are the president. Joe Biden's the face of the president. So, rant ended. All right, next. Let's see. Where am I at? Where the hell am I at? We did Alabama. All right, couple things. One more thing. CNN apparently thinks we're stupid. Well, or no, actually, they don't think we're stupid. They just know that most people don't know anything about this subject. And they decided to put out an article yesterday, or is this day? No, this is this morning. They put this out this morning at midnight. About speaking of beasts, Mr. Beast, Chris Tyson. You know who Chris Tyson is? Anyone know who Mr. Beast, Chris Tyson is? One of the Mr. Beast dudes who now thinks he's a chick. Okay. And here, let's just put it on the screen. Mr. Beast, Chris Tyson says she's so much happier after 6 months of hormone replacement therapy. Now, why is this news? Why is this news? Well, because there seems to be a bit of an agenda in the trans activist world to make this, everyone's just so happy. Everyone's so happy to be trans, and I feel so much better, right? And I remember a while back they were touting this study on how like 90% of people who transition feel better about their lives, right? That 97%, it's kind of like the 97% of scientists. 90 some percent of people, trans people who transition feel better about their lives. And then we went and looked at the study that they're talking about. Because I'm like, wow, that's weird, because we already know that there's studies in other parts of the world talking about how, the ideation of self-ending and whatever really doesn't change. It usually, comes out in about 7 to 10 years after transitioning, and it's the same rate as it was before for any of the befores, all the after. So obviously there's something else going on. So we went and looked at the study where they said, 90% of people who transitioned feel better about their lives. And you looked at the study, and you know what it was? You know what it was? They studied people it was a survey. It wasn't even a study. It was a survey of people who had transitioned 6 months earlier. And so I saw this article today, because look, 6 months. Well, you know what? Do you think there's people who are going to regret transitioning, or at least even tell you that they regret transitioning 6 months after they've done it? No, because they've been conditioned to think that this is supposed to be the best thing for them. This is going to solve all their problems. This is going to be whatever. And there's probably still, after 6 months, there's probably still a little bit of euphoria of the fact that, this is the thing that I needed to do. And they're not going to tell you that it sucks already after 6 months. So the idea that, Chris Tyson's much happier after 6 months of hormone replacement, well, yippity skippity do. Come back at me in 4 years and see how Chris likes being a permanent medical patient. Ask me in 7 years, when the ideation of that self-ending is 42%, excuse me. It's 42%. After transitioning 7 to 10 years later. Ask me that. Ask Chris then. If Chris is doing okay then great. This was the right thing to do. But we'll see. 6 months? Of course you're going to say, this is the greatest thing I ever did. The doctors told me it'd be the greatest thing I ever did, and it's supposed to be the greatest thing I ever did. And, everyone said that I should be my own self, and now I feel like I'm on my own self since I've been doing this for 6 months, and I haven't had to do this for 3 years. I haven't had to do this for 5, 6, 10, 20 years. Check. Let's come back in 6 years. Let's see how she's doing. It's whatever. See how Chris is doing. All right. Now, to tag along with this, Neil deGrasse. Oh, that's not it. We're having a Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh no! Did I forget to put? Did I put? Is this it? Please let this be Neil deGrasse Tyson. Ah, it is. Perfect. All right. So, to piggyback on this, Neil deGrasse Tyson has a little video out of him talking to somebody. I don't know who the hell he's talking to. But Neil deGrasse Tyson's jumping into the pseudoscience world. But I would listen to this carefully, and it's interesting. He's not actually talking about science here. Let's listen to what Neil deGrasse Tyson says about this. He's talking about people who are gender non-conforming, who could be bi or who could be whatever, who could be this, who could be that. Listen to Neil. This is crazy. And he's jumping into this pseudoscience world, which a lot of times he does that more than you think. But anyway.
What happens is, especially under Trump, we had a conservative right-wing who said, I don't want the government forcing me to get vaccinated. I don't want the
Okay, this is the wrong part of the interview. I clipped the wrong clip. He's arguing that the COVID vaccines were good. Okay, that was not what I wanted to. Wait, let's see. Maybe it's in here somewhere. Let's see. Do they have the trans part? I clicked the wrong one. I'm sorry, you guys. Anyway, he's he was having argument talking about, that someday he might feel 90% male and 10% female. Another day he might feel 70% female and 70% male. No. See, Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't even understand the arguments, because the male and female are still sex. But he was using those as gender, and their rules are that sex and gender are two different things. More like select a boy. Yeah, boy. And nomad. Stop. Hammer time. And unacceptable views. What's up? He was arguing that he was talking about sometimes I might feel 70% female, and I dress and live according to that. He completely is lost on the argument. He's completely lost in the argument, but I have the wrong clip, so I apologize. All right, let's get into the main topic of the day. And that would be Devin Archer and Burisma and all these other things that are trending. In fact, the trending topic is Burisma is one of them. Okay. Burisma is trending. In 2014, the owner of Burisma, Mykola Zlochevsky, fled Ukraine after being put on the wanted list for financial corruption. Here he is in 2016 in Monaco. Any idea who that was with him in the picture? Don't know. Remember, Joe Biden talks with his grandchildren every single day. I think that's one of Joe Biden's grandchildren. I think so. But Burisma was trading mainly because Devin Archer testified before a congressional committee yesterday. And so there's a couple of different things. Reminded the same month, Burisma hired Hunter Biden and Devin Archer, partners of stepson of then Secretary of State John Kerry. The UK announced a money laundering investigation into Burisma's owner froze $23 million in assets. The EU is expected to follow suit, but the director of the SFO has opened. Okay, where is it? Oh, wait a minute. Is this a thread? Hang on. What did Julie Kelly do here? I apologize for the mix-up. Welcome to live streaming. Okay, it's not showing up. Everything's... Oh, what the hell's going on here? Okay, we're still on Burisma. Anyway, let's get into... We want to talk some of the trending topics about this. Oh, Jesus. What the hell's going on here? Well, there it goes. All right. What? I'm not finding people. Here we go. Let's see here. Impeachment number 1 was based on a call between Trump and Zelensky, which they spoke about issues of corruption trend regarding Joe and Hunter's ties to Burisma. Now what have we learned? It was all true. The fact is, Pelosi led a fast impeachment with no evidence based on pure politics. Okay, this is Byron Donalds, one of my favorite congressmen, talking about this. Let's just listen in real quick.
If you want to take a look at impeachment number 1, it was based upon a phone call between President Trump and President Zelensky of Ukraine, talking about potential issues of corruption around Burisma concerning Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. What have we learned? That it's all true. That there was political corruption between Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and Burisma in Ukraine. The Biden family was paid. Joe Biden used his office to get the prosecutor looking into Burisma fired. So the fact that Nancy Pelosi led a fast impeachment with no evidence, all based upon a phone call, and by the way, the transcript was released, and that's all that occurred. There was no public corruption, but congressional Democrats voted for it anyway. It was pure politics. There was no basis. All
right, so that's him talking about. Let's get that's not the topic today, but things that are trending because of the testimony yesterday. Burisma, Joe Biden never, Bo as in Bo Biden, and so here is Democrat Representative Dan Goldman. Okay, he comes out of this meeting, this testimony from Devin Archer, and he is spinning as hard as he can to make it sound like this whole testimony is a nothing burger. So I want to show you what he comes out and tells reporters. All right. So listen to this real quick. This is Dan Goldman, Democrat from, I believe, Connecticut or somewhere, Delaware. I don't know where he's from.
Doesn't that contradict the president's statement saying that he never talked to any of Hunter Biden's business associates?
So, again, he's asking, does the testimony contradict the statements that Biden made repeatedly, that he never talked to any of Hunter Biden's business associates? He never talked to Hunter about his business. He never done any of this. Listen how Dan Goldman very carefully answers this question.
Clearly he talked, whether about the weather or whatever, but he said specifically that he's never talked to them. Doesn't this contradict them?
I don't know what his comment is, and
it's very specific. He said, I'd never spoken with any of his business associates. I never talked to Hunter about his business.
If we're gonna, well, I don't think that's.
And also Goldman claims, this is funny, Goldman's claim is that when he's talking to some of his business associates, some of the foreign business people, those people in Ukraine, with Burisma, whatever, he said they put him on the phone, right? Apparently 20 sometimes they've put him on the phone. And Dan Goldman is saying that Joe Biden talked with them about the weather, about the weather 20 times. Every time they put him on the phone, well, Joe Biden just talked about the weather. Well, how's the weather over there in Ukraine? Well, it sounds very nice. How's the weather over there in the United States? It was very nice. I'm sure that's what they talked about. Anyway.
What he said. He never said that he has never spoken to anyone.
That is false.
He said that he had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings. If he says hello.
Now, remember, that is a change again. We talked about that a few days ago, where that's a complete change in the talking points for this. Because originally, Joe Biden said he's never he didn't know any of his business associates. Then he said he never talked to any of his business associates. Then he said he was never involved with any of his business associates. Then he said he's never done business with any of his business associates. The story is constantly changing.
Hello to someone that he sees his son with.
Oh,
is he supposed to say,
he just says hello to them.
No, I'm not going to say hello to the other people at the table or the
Wait a minute. What about the times he's on the speakerphone? They put you on. Go get your dad on the phone. Give me a break. This guy's spinning his ass off.
It's kind of a preposterous premise to think that a father should not say hello to people that the son are at dinner with. The son is at dinner with.
It's just a story of a father and the son a loving father who's being polite to the other people that his son are hanging around with, except for the hookers and the crack dealers. Anyway.
And that is literally all the evidence is.
Is this like a party trick that Hunter Biden used to impress the people he was with?
So that little last question is also another way they're trying to spin it. Let's look at here's the statement from Comer, the Republican committee chairman on this particular special committee. House Committee Oversight and Accountability Chairman James Comer issued the following statement following Devin Archer's 4-hour transcribed interview with the committee. Devin Archer's testimony today confirms Joe Biden lied to the American people when he said he had no knowledge of his son's business dealings and was not involved. Joe Biden was the brand that his son sold around the world to enrich the Biden family. When Joe Biden was vice president of the United States, he joined Hunter Biden's dinners with foreign business associates in person or by speakerphone over 20 times. When Burisma owners was facing pressure from the Ukrainian prosecutor investigating the company for corruption, Archer testified that Burisma executives asked Hunter to call D.C. after a Burisma board meeting in Dubai. Why did Joe Biden lie to the American people about his family's business dealings and involvement? It begs the question, what else is he hiding from the American people? The House Committee on Oversight and Accountability will continue to follow the Biden's money trail and interview witnesses to determine whether foreign actors targeted the Bidens. President Biden is compromised and corrupt, and our national security is threatened. Then he has 5 takeaways here, which I'm sure they'll be up in the... You can read those. Here, let's go through them. Archer testified that the value of adding Hunter Biden to Burisma's board was the brand, and confirmed that then Vice President Joe Biden was the brand. Archer admitted that Burisma would have gone out of business if the brand had not been attached to it. He believed that Hunter Biden being on the board and the Biden brand contributed to Burisma's longevity. People would have been intimidated to mess with Burisma legally because of the Biden brand. In December 2015, Mykola Zlochevsky, owner of Burisma, and Vadim Pozharsky, an executive Burisma, placed constant pressure on Hunter Biden to get help from D.C. regarding the Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin. Shokin was investigating Burisma for corruption. Hunter Biden, along with Zlochevsky and Pozharsky, called D.C. to discuss the matter. They called D.C.? Well, who's in D.C.? Joe Biden. Biden, Zlochevsky, and Pozharsky stepped away to make the call. This raises concerns that Hunter Biden was in violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Devin Archer testified that Hunter Biden put then Vice President Joe Biden on the speakerphone during business meetings over 20 times. Archer testified that Joe Biden was put on the phone to sell the brand. These phone calls include a dinner in Paris with a French energy company and in China with Jonathan Lee, the CEO of BHR. Archer acknowledged that then Vice President Biden had coffee with Jonathan Lee, the CEO of BHR, in Beijing. Then Vice President Biden wrote a letter of recommendation for college for Lee's daughter. Archer confirmed Joe Biden was referred to as my guy by Hunter Biden. In the spring of 2014, then Vice President Biden attended a business dinner with his son, Hunter, and his associates at Cafe Milano in Washington, D.C. Elena Baturina, a Russian oligarch who is the widow of the former mayor of Moscow, attended the dinner. Notably, the Biden administration's public sanctions list for Russian oligarchs does not contain Baturina. So that's from the James Comer. What the hell? Okay, hang on. That was a mistake. Let's fix this real quick because the New York Times is also kind of spinning. So I'll just put I'm going to skip the New York Times article anyway. But I am going to have it. I'll have it in the links today. But their headline was the New York Times headline: Biden spoke with son's associates, but not about business. Former partner says. Now that's interesting. That doesn't sound like what James Comer said. Actually, I want to read this now. Republicans accused the president of lying, while Democrats said the testimony of Devin Archer, who worked with Hunter Biden, showed that his son is selling the illusion of access. Okay, so this is the new line that they've come up with as of yesterday and today. Now they're saying, no, they didn't sell access to President Biden, or excuse me, Vice President Biden at the time. they were selling the illusion of access. Except, how do you explain putting him on speakerphone 20 times? What do you mean the illusion of access? President Biden met with and spoke with his son Hunter's international business associates on a number of occasions over a decade. Now, see, they're spreading it out as Hunter Biden sought to drum up consulting deals while his father was vice president, his former business partner told Congress on Monday. However, now this is, again, it's the New York Times spinning this. However, in nearly 5 hours of closed-door testimony to the House Oversight Committee, Devin Archer, a former partner, asserted that the elder Biden was not party to any of his son's business deals and that Hunter Biden had tried to sell the illusion that he was providing access to his powerful father when he was not. Well, then he's acting as a foreign agent then. Make up your mind, one or the other. So now he should be under NARA. According to Democrats on the panel. Now, isn't it fascinating? The New York Times, this is a news report. This is not an editorial. But they first give you the Democrats' spin on this. That he was selling the illusion of access. Well, illusion of access, you got him on the phone 20 times. That sounds like access to me. Mr. Archer's testimony, which provided in response to a subpoena, was the latest bit of evidence in an investigation by House Republicans into Hunter Biden's business dealings and conduct. Republicans have claimed repeatedly and so far without proof. Oh, really? Would you ever say that? Did you ever say that when you were talking about the Steele dossier? When it was Trump, that Democrats claimed repeatedly and so far without proof that the investigations implicate the president in corruption and crimes? Did you ever once use that terminology without proof? Get the fuck out of here. I'm not reading this shit. You can read it if you want to. The whole thing's like that. But then you get the Fox News spin. Here's the Fox News spin. Devin Archer, Hunter Biden, Burisma execs called D.C. to get Ukrainian prosecutor fired. Now that is interesting because that doesn't really show up in that, wouldn't you think that this would be a bigger part of the news, especially since a president got impeached over this kind of topic? Hunter Biden, Burisma execs called D.C. to get Ukrainian prosecutor fired. Did Devin Archer testify that? That's important, isn't it? This is, again, it's the Fox News spin, so you might be getting a whole different spin. I don't know which is spin or which is not. But, if they talked on the phone with him 20 times, that would sound like access to me. Even if all he did was talk about the weather. You know what I mean? Remember that song? Is that 10,000 Maniacs? Natalie Merchant. Something about the weather. Anyway. Archer, a former business associate and longtime friend of Hunter Biden, testified for hours before the House Oversight Committee on Monday. Archer testified that Hunter put his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, on speakerphone while meeting with business partners at least 20 times. Sounds like access to me, not the illusion of access. That's actual access. Now, whether or not he responded, that was actual access. The illusion of access would be like, yeah, my father's the vice president. We probably could get him to come play golf with us sometime. And it never happens. That would be the illusion of access. Yes, maybe I could talk my father into, maybe stopping this sanction on this particular item. That would be the illusion of access. When you actually get to speak to the vice president of the United States, I would call that access. And again, said Joe Biden was put on the phone to sell the brand. Archer was on the board with the natural gas firm along with Hunter Biden. He also testified to an interaction in December 2015 involving Burisma CEO Mykola Zlochevsky and Vadim Pozharsky, an executive at the firm. Archer said Zlochevsky and Pozharsky placed constant pressure on Hunter Biden to get help from D.C. in getting Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin ousted. Well, you'd think that would be bigger headline or, lead than what New York Times did here. What did New York Times say? However, in nearly 5 hours of closed-door testimony, the House Oversight Committee, Devin Archer, a former partner, asserted that the elder Mr. Biden was not party to any of his son's business deals and that Hunter Biden tried to sell the illusion that he was providing access. Really? Which is more concerning? Which is the reason why he was testifying before the House committee? The illusion of access or the actual access? It's unclear if Hunter and the Burisma executive spoke directly to Joe Biden on the matter. At the time, though, Joe Biden was in charge of the U.S.-Ukraine policy for the Obama administration. A source said that Archer testified just days later. On December 9, 2015, Joe Biden traveled to Ukraine and made a speech. Biden, during a speech, said the government needed to fix the Ukrainian prosecutor's office. Wow, what a coincidence! What a coinkydink that he just days after the phone call that they said, hey, we need to get some help from DC. Just days after that, Biden's in Ukraine saying, oh my gosh, well, we need to be concerned about this prosecutor's office. What a coinkydink. It's magic. It's just like they didn't even talk to Joe Biden. They just it wasn't even a Vulcan mind meld because they weren't even close enough. It was osmosis across several million miles or thousands of miles. And it just, all of a sudden, Joe Biden's like, hey, we need to think about this prosecutor. Shocker. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Anyway, there's a lot. So anyway, you'll find this again. Here's Axios. Here's the Axios article. Same thing. Hunter Biden's associates describes illusion of access. Is that the headline? Is what the Democrats come out and say? Axios? The illusion of access is what you got from all of the things you heard about the testimony? And again, here it is. This is Axios. A former Hunter Biden associate told Congress that Hunter sold the illusion of access by putting his father on speakerphone. Do you see the contradiction in that sentence even? Are you daft? This is Dan Goldman, Democrat from New York. This is Dan Goldman's spin. They're taking Dan Goldman's spin on this. Putting his father in he sold the illusion of access by putting his father on the speakerphone with business partners, but that then Vice President Biden never talked shop. Now, this is according to Dan Goldman, a source familiar with the testimony. And a source familiar with the testimony. Really? Is that your second source? Is a source familiar with the testimony? Because every one of those congressmen came out and started talking about this. Really? Is that the most important thing you got out of this, Axios? Holy shit. Why it matters. Top Republicans called for an impeachment inquiry into President Biden ahead of Devin Archer's closed-door meeting Monday, and it suggested that he boosted their case while Democrats said there was no smoking gun. He talked about the weather. To his son's business entanglements. Zoom in. Archer, who was convicted of fraud. And now, this is important, see. They are imputing the credibility of the witness by bringing up his convicted of fraud 2018. Testified that Hunter put his father on the phone with friends and business associates roughly 20 times over 10 years. But Archer repeated over and over again that President Biden never discussed any business dealings or interest with Hunter or anyone else. Goldman told reporters after the hours-long transcribed interviews. They're just taking Goldman's word for it. Republicans cast doubt on the claim that Biden simply exchanged niceties during the phone calls. They also focused on Archer's testimony that embattled Ukrainian gas company Burisma wanted Hunter on its board for his family brand. Archer testified he knew nothing about the alleged $5 million bribes paid to the Biden family from Burisma. He does. Why would he know about that? Granted, he's on the Burisma board, but you know what? They're figureheads on the board. They're over there again. This is for the brand. Oh my gosh. He didn't know anything about the $5 million bribes that were reported earlier. Archer also testified that Burisma believed efforts to oust Ukrainian Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin were bad for the Ukrainian energy company, according to Goldman. Archer testified that Burisma believed efforts to oust Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin were bad for the Ukrainian energy company. No, they were. That's a weird spin. The Prosecutor General who is going after Burisma, it's bad that they were trying to oust him. Wouldn't that benefit them to oust the guy that's investigating them? Hello, Cool Frog. What's up? Also, those ain't real, dude. The interview did raise questions about Hunter. So they're trying to throw Hunter under the bus completely on this by saying, oh no, he was trying to, he was just trying to leverage the family name. Well, duh. Why do you think he's on a board of an energy company in Ukraine when he knows nothing about energy or Ukraine? This is hilarious. All right. There was one more spin. Where's the CNN spin? Well, anyway, other news about this, though. In the Daily Mail, this is more Hunter Biden news, not necessarily about this, but Hunter Biden told judge under oath that he was a member of the Connecticut bar in good standing, but he was suspended 2 years ago for failure to pay fees. Apparently, in his other case, he's been caught misleading a judge while under oath about his status as a practicing lawyer. At his disastrous plea hearing last week, Delaware District Judge Marilyn Ellen Noriega, Noriega? I was too close to Noriega. Anyway, asked Hunter where he was eligible to practice law. He said, "You're a member of the bar?" She said, "Yes, Your Honor." He applied District of Columbia in Connecticut. Apparently, his license was not in good standing in Connecticut. So I don't know if that's just him. Maybe he was on crack at the time he was testifying for the judge. Here's the other thing, though. This Moscow mayor's wife that they just talked about. let's bring that into perspective. On Zero Hedge, we got an article. Joe Biden met with Moscow mayor's wife before a $3.5 million wire to Hunter. Let me repeat that. Joe Biden met with Moscow mayor's wife before the $3.5 million wire to Hunter, according to Devin Archer. So he knew about that wire. Listen to this. While former Hunter Biden business partner Devin Archer spills the beans about Burisma, Joe, and the Biden family dealings, the Daily Mail revealed on Monday that Hunter Biden's real estate firm received a $40 million investment from a Russian oligarch, Yelena Baturina, the billionaire widow of the former mayor of Moscow. Baturina also wired $3.5 million to a Hunter-linked company in what her brother, Victor Baturin, tells the Daily Mail was a payment to enter the American market, and which, as Devin Archer testified on Monday, kept her off the sanctions list. Really? DailyMail.com can now reveal that Hunter's financial relationship with Baturina was far more extensive, with her firm investing $40 million in a real estate venture by Hunter's company, Rosemont Realty. In 2012, Hunter's firm had a 69 points. Wait, what? A what? A what? Had a $69.7 million plan to invest in 2.15 million square feet of office space in 7 U.S. cities. Document outlining the plan said the money came from a mix of investors, including $40 million from Inteco Management AG, a Swiss company owned by Baturina. So anyway, Baturina wired the $3.5 million on February 14, 2014, when Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. The wires were made in a series of payments to Rosemont Seneca Thornton, LLC, for, quote, consultancy agency agreement, DD-12 to 2014. Now, the deal had been negotiated in 2012. In 2016, Baturina established a U.S. office to oversee her investments. In 2016, she invested $10 million in commercial buildings near the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The payments were flagged in suspicious activity reports filed with the U.S. Treasury. Hunter's lawyer, George Maziris, not the bond guy, had previously denied that the money went to Hunter. Hunter Biden had no interest in and was not co-founder of Rosemont Seneca Thornton, so the claim that he was paid $3.5 million is false, he told CNN in 2020. But emails came to the Daily Mail via the anti-corruption group, the Kazakhstani Initiative on Asset Recovery, Now we find from Devin Archer that Joe Biden met with Baturina in Georgetown before the $40 million investment, after which she was left off the Biden administration's sanctions list. How convenient. Let's see. Here it is. Here's a question that, Latrine Jean-Pierre was asked about this. Let's see what she says.
Regarding Russia's sanctions, I'm wondering if you could share the reason why President Biden hasn't sanctioned the Russian billionaires Vladimir Yevtushenkov and Yelena Baturina. How is he handling the conflict of interest there, given his son was a business associate?
$40 million to do it.
Can you confirm that as sitting vice president, he dined with Baturina in Georgetown?
I'm just not speaking to anything that's related to his son from here. If you want to ask.
No, wait. That's not what he asked. He didn't ask about Hunter Biden. He asked why was Baturina and that other dude left off the sanctions list when most Russians are on the sanctions list, and did the president, who was the former vice president himself, meet with Baturina? That has nothing to do with Hunter Biden, other than he paid Hunter Biden $40 million, or invested $140 million. Yeah, it's not his son, him.
Confirm that as sitting vice president, he dined with Baturina in Georgetown.
I'm just not speaking to anything that's
vice
related
president
to his son from here. If you want to ask a question about Hunter Biden specifically, I would refer you to his family. And as it relates to any sanctions, I'm not speaking to individual persons.
Yeah, that's convenient. So anyway, let's move on. Oh, that's it. I got through everything. I'll be damned. Well, actually, there's a couple other articles. The only other articles I have in here that are not related to this, did you know that there was a, this gay BLM dancer guy that made up this troupe, something like Voguing for BLM or something, in New York City, was stabbed to death in a hate crime. Or they're trying to think it might be a hate crime, right? You would think that would make national news because, it seems like the demographic would be right for that, right? Well, no, because he was well, here's the title of the article. You can look at it. Let's move there. There's the title of the article. There's a reason why it's probably not getting as much play, but I'll have the article in the links today. Also in the links. Oh, and here it is. Vogue for Black Lives Matter. This is the dance troupe. Vogue for Black Lives Matter. There's a video and you just go, okay, yippee. But anyway, yeah. But it's not getting any national attention. Now you would think that, that's in fact, it's a black trans person of color. And, nope. Didn't make the news, didn't make the national news, and I can't understand why. And then let's see, what's this here? Oh yeah, there's 3 articles open on it in here, so you can check that out yourself. But that's it, guys. I am done. I got through everything today. I can't believe it. Hey, before you click the buttons though, because I haven't left yet. I'm still here. I'm still here. Not yet. Click a button, right? Click a button that says like. It's right below the screen here somewhere. And Rumble Rants, Rumble whatever likes too. That's important. The plus or minus. Hit the thumbs up over on Rumble too if you're over there. And if you would be so kind, share the stream. I know it's over, but share it now. Somebody might watch it. A lot of people watch the replays on Rumble. They never put comments in the comment section. If you're watching a replay on comments and Rumble and you've gotten this far, put a comment in the comment section. And then finally, you can sponsor the show. No sponsor today, that's okay. But you can do it at Streamlabs, which is pdognight.live 24 hours a day. Venmo Cash App 24 hours a day. Rumble Rants and YouTube Super Chat. Oh, by the way, where's my Super Chat button? But did I tell you that YouTube remonetized my channel, but I do not see Super Chats return on my... Do you see a Super Chat button on YouTube? I don't see one, but maybe it's because it's my own channel. But yeah, YouTube remonetized my channel. I wrote them a tweet to YouTube. What do they call it? Team YouTube. Sometimes you get better results there. And they've decided to remonetize my channel. So I don't know if you can see it there, but it's there somewhere. Anyway, guys, gotta go. Lovely seeing you all. No, it's not there. Oh. Mike Savage says that he has one, but Advocatus Diabli doesn't. I don't know why. Tyler says Tyre says there's one there. Okay, well, it's there somewhere. It may be taking time to reestablish itself. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today on the Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, around 10 o'clock Eastern Time. That's it. I got to go. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.